Oh God. Oh God. We're talking about an Akash rub in this fantasy chat as we speak. I'm trying to figure out what an Akash rub is.
That's how you open this
Oh
shit?
God. Yeah. Oh, dude, this is what we do, man. We just talk
Amazing.
shit to start up the episode. We wait, like we talk a bunch of shit up until the
Okay.
room starts to fill up and we start getting some people in here and then we kick off the show. So
We're absolutely raw dogging this podcast. I have no show
we're
sheet.
we're Kosh rubbing this podcast.
Dude,
We're
there's
all-
nothing in the private chat. I don't know what we're talking about except for no recent news. No show sheet. No
Dude, we got a
nothing.
ton. We got
You
a
can
ton of
take it.
recent news.
Yeah, we do have news. I just don't know what it is.
Oh,
I mean, I know what it is, but it's not listed out. So we're no plan. We're raw dogging this.
I'm literally saying we're talking about this group chat in the podcast or on the live stream right now. It's pretty epic. I don't think that anybody's actually had that happen.
No, this is real. This isn't any kind of content you get anywhere else. This is
No. We're literally talking about the Akash rub and all the other strange stuff. What's up, Jamie? Yeah, Jamie actually hit me up. He's like, dude, when's the show coming back? I was like, man, I've been so busy, but I'm happy to kick this show back up with Akash. I booked him twice now. Both times I forgot to follow up with them to actually go through with the episode. So I get him this time. We just got back from the
I had to come up at the expo, like be like, why the fuck you not text me back? Oh my
God. Dude, don't even say that. I said that. I walked up to you and I felt bad. Dude, oh man. Hatter's like, dude, that's gross. Send me the link. I'm dead right now. This is gonna be a fun show, man. This is gonna be a fun show. Are you ready to kick this one off so I can go ahead and share it in the chat?
Yeah, let's kick it.
All right, let's do this.
This is Fantasy Intervention. Now here to intervene with your fantasy life, Shane Manila, Jacob Sanderson, and Chase Vernon.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on to another show of Fantasy Intervention. That is right. We are live. We are ready to kick this episode off. We have plenty of things going on, but I could not do this episode by myself. It's just too much to talk about. So I had to bring Akash, man. What's going on? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing very well, man. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Dude, thanks for joining us. I'm ready to rock and roll. We got the group chat going off ready. Fly Meatwads in here, dude. I auto drafted so much best ball over this past weekend. It was absolutely like ridiculous because, you know, I'm sitting on flights. I'm sitting there getting drunk with you guys. Well, not you, because, you know, obviously you can't drink, but
yeah, and I didn't. Absolutely.
No, but of course, you know, the auto drafts kicked off. I'm pretty sure I had my auto draft going at least 4 or 5 best ball drafts this past weekend. Hopefully my team's getting too fucked up. I took one team where I have Patrick Mahomes. I have like Joe Burrow, Kirk Cousins, Daniel Jones. Safe to say all that early invest capital is not going to pay off well for me. But yeah, fly me wild. We're gonna drop the best ball content for now.
Oh yes. Man, let's get it.
All right, so
a lot going on.
We had some big things, right? We had some big things going on this past week. Of course, we have Ezekiel Elliot joining. We have Dalvin Cook joining. We have Treylon Burks, who actually just came out that he's only going to miss a few weeks. So that was, I guess, the one good thing for fantasy teams that happened. Meanwhile, we continue to see certain guys just rise up the ADP as nobody is getting their backs, aka Tony Pollard. oh man, that's Jacob Sanderson's wet dream, right? Is for nobody to get signed in Dallas and for Tony Pollard to have the backfield his entire self. So let's dive into it a little bit. Let's talk about some of the effects that some of these players have had. We're gonna breeze over the news, I guess, and I'm gonna get your take on each one, and then we're gonna go in a little bit into the rankings and kind of talk about how the fantasy landscape has shook out, how it shook out over this offseason and what you expect to happen. So let's start out with Ezekiel Elliot to the Patriots. Ramondre Stevenson, man, what's going to happen to Ramondre this year? Is he getting relegated to just third down duties? What's happening in your mind?
Nah, it's all right. Zeke's about as dusty as they come right now in terms of guys who you know the name of. Obviously cut from Dallas, and last year who was just absolutely horrible. You already saw him get taken over a little bit. He still had a lot of volume that he did absolutely nothing with. And I believe on the season he ended up with like 92 total receiving yards.
It was bad.
Hilarious stuff. But he scored 12 touchdowns, and so people are talking about he'll have like goal line work, short yardage. Yeah, but Ramondre should still be okay in the goal line. It's not we didn't expect anyways to be a team that's always in the red zone all the time. So yeah, Ramondre's still going to get a lot of receiving work. That's really what made him so good last year. Obviously, no one was projecting him to get 85% of the touches. He'll probably still stick around 60%, and that's perfectly fine, especially when so many of those are receptions. He can still remain an RB1.
Well, I mean, Zeke was actually involved in the receiving game, up until what? Kellen Moore came to town, right? Maybe he was even involved the first year that Kellen Moore was there. Either way, I mean, we've seen his reception total eclipse 77 receptions, 54 receptions, 52 receptions.
Yeah, back in the Trump administration, he was a good receiver.
Hey, it was 3 years ago. I know that's forever in running back years. But
3 years ago was the Trump administration, right? Yeah, it was.
No.
Yeah. 2019.
Jeez, man. That's crazy to think about. So I don't know, man. I'm not sold that Ramondre is just in the clear, right? Like I still think that he's going to see some affected touches, but I mean, it's not like the backfield over there for New England was empty, as you brought up, right? Like you didn't expect him to see 85%. He's still had to deal with competition from like guys like Pierre Strong, Ty Montgomery. I mean, it feels like all these guys are just about as talented as what Ezekiel Elliott is now. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know.
Much better as this competition that he saw previously.
Well, last year he had Damian Harris. And so it's he's good, solid rushing. Obviously, same as Zeke, not much in the receiving game at this point. Like that's always Ramondre. But Ramondre still got a lot of good rushing work. He's a solid rusher. He's good. I think Zeke signing is really sort of an indictment of the backups that they had. I don't think there's anything where he's going to be competing for something. I think at this point, like Cowboys knew what Zeke is. He went unsigned for all this time, and then he gets signed for up to $6 million. Everyone knows what Zeke is. If that's like the best offer, and that's what he took in the middle of August, like everyone knows what Zeke is. It's gonna be a part-time role. It's not gonna eat into Ramondre that much, and Ramondre should still be okay because the main bread and butter, the receptions. Like, dude, I remember there was one game last year where I was working for some random DFS company, like just running their Twitter, and they pay me too much money, more than I'm worth to do it. And it was like Thanksgiving, and I'm hanging out with my family. In the middle of halftime, I tweet that he has like 7 catches for 41 yards. Like Mac Jones checkdowns turned Ramondre into a wide receiver 1, and it was like their most liked tweet ever because it's like random dump downs. That's like 5.85 yards per reception. Dude,
oh yeah,
it's just dump offs. It's just PPR goodness. Like it's gonna be fine. That's still gonna be there.
So let's talk a little bit about Zeke, right? Because this offense, which has their old offensive coordinator back, right? Could be a little bit more dynamic. A lot better than Matt Nagy, of course, running this offense. I'm a little bit concerned as to how often they spend in the red zone. You actually brought that up earlier. Like, we're not going to see a ton of red zone carries. But is Ezekiel Elliott still somebody that's draftable? Like, do we still think that this can be a two-headed monster in the running game where he could see enough volume to be relevant? Are we spending, 13th or 14th round pick on Ezekiel Elliott in our typical redraft leagues?
Yeah, but not for any standalone type value. Like, there's probably like a 1 in 1,000 chance that he has like a Jamal Williams type season. It's
We've
not gonna
seen
happen
it with the
though.
Patriots before with the Garrett Blount. Come on.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. But it's most likely 13th, 14th round. That's fine. You're not like the ADP is not super high, but it's going to be good contingent value. Like you're drafting him amongst other backups, and he's not very good, but he is a guy that if Ramondre goes down for a week or two, like the coaches can be like, yeah, man, it's Zeke. You can just give him like 20 carries, and maybe he turns that into like 65 rushing yards and gets a couple dump offs. Maybe he falls into the end zone. But he'll be decently startable if Ramondre gets hurt. And so he's a solid pick amongst other backup running backs. But don't treat him as anything more than that. I'm not going to – you definitely going to be out there and see some content, some maybe TikToks especially, be like, could Zeke and Ramondre be like – could they both have
what starting? My question was, right?
Right, yeah, that was your question. But you're asking me as a question. I know people are out there going to have that as like their takes.
Oh, God, don't even start with that. All right, I'm going to give you one more question. We're going to move on to the different news. Fuck, marry, kill. Kenny Gainwell, Ezekiel Elliott, Tank Bigsby.
And redraft.
God,
which one of fucking Mary?
Break your brain.
One? No, I'm just trying to remember which one of fucking Mary is the best one.
Mary's the best one.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm 20, bro. I don't know. Like, if I'm out there and if I'm out there and you tell me that I see like if there's a girl I like and it's like you either have to fuck her right now or marry right now, I know which one I'm picking.
Mary's probably the bottom one for you.
Yeah. No, kill, bro. Let's calm down. But I would marry Bigsby, and then
really,
I don't know. Yeah, he's good. He's got good skill set, 3-down skill set, and obviously I love ETN, but I also like Bigsby. Bigsby's a good prospect. But contingent value, and then I guess I would fuck Gainwell. After everything we said over last, you remember what we said last year about Gainwell?
Oh, dude, I love Gainwell. You know that.
I won that one.
What? No, we don't know that yet. We don't know that yet.
Yes, we did. Because you were talking about he's the RB1 over
Of course, I gotta mess around some.
Fuck out of here. But then it's like, okay, I'll get. It's I don't know if this is totally rational, but just like fuck Zeke, he's dusty, man.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like I was talking everything about like he's a good like backup running back, but in this game I don't have to think too hard. Just fuck him. He's dusty.
All right. All right. I'll take it, man. I think that Gainwell is over Bigsby, but I get it. Hey, let us know in the chat. Yeah, let us know your FMK in the chat. Let us know who you'd marry, which one you'd fuck, which one to kill. Make sure you guys hit subscribe, hit like, leave those comments, or keep them coming, I should say. Y'all have been great so far.
What kind of role does Gainwell look at? Like
RB1 role, bro, because Swift and Rashad Penny ain't gonna hold up. And I'm a big Swift fan. I got his jersey right behind me.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I got to keep this going with you. This is now my shtick with you whenever you're on the show.
Just talking about Gainwell. That's going to be really good content when he's out of the league in 2 years.
Oh, no. Gainwell's going to last forever. He's going to last forever. He's going to be a god. All right, let's move on to Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook goes and signs a contract with the Jets. A little bit of a weird situation because he ended up being somewhat injured at first, and then Breece Hall's like, I'm coming back. I'm playing. Like it was very weird trying to sift through and figure out exactly what was happening there. We still don't know what's going to happen, but I will ask you this: who has more fantasy points by week 2 or 3, Dalvin Cook or Breece Hall?
Variance. I'd say Breece. That's tough though because like it's up in the air what his workload is going to look like early.
Yeah, the early's the question, right? Because if you can get Dalvin Cook and he looks great, like you draft him in round 10 or whatever round he's going in for redraft leagues right now, if you could draft him late and then all of a sudden you can end up trading him after week 3 for an upgraded wide receiver, right? Or major wide receiver, an upgraded wide receiver, who is essentially either, pretty much underwhelming on their expectations. Maybe Chris Godwin, right, who's struggling to find chemistry with Baker Mayfield, or I don't know. Let's see, Jordan Addison, right, who might be struggling to find a role on the offense early, but you can move Dalvin Cook for him. That sounds like a gimme role, but you have to believe that Dalvin Cook is going to have the workload needed in the first 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah, maybe it's hard to say. I wouldn't bank on that, trying to make a trade off of early season usage that's not going to continue, because there's always going to be opportunities. You draft whatever players you like, and there's always going to be opportunities to look for, like, if you're actually either making content or consuming content, this kind of content where it's like, okay, he's overperforming based on what's going to go forward, or like his usage versus underperforming, like if Godwin or like Addison or something. Like if Addison's out there by week 2 running 60-70% of the routes, but he only has like a couple catches, I'll buy that if someone's selling low. That's always going to be there for a litany of players. So I don't think I wouldn't draft Dalvin based on that kind of argument. Mostly if you're buying, I don't know, his role looks really iffy because Brees is such a good player when he's healthy, and he should be back. He should be back to performing very well by at least a few weeks in, if not week 1. It's tough, obviously, with the ACL, but I don't know. There's a bunch of guys I trust on this who are really optimistic about his timeline. And so if Brees is coming in and by like week 5 or something, he's back to being the workhorse. And then Dalvin's like a player who people know the name of, but he's just spelling him on occasional carries and getting like a 30% opportunity share or 40%, then I don't know. It's not going to work out. You're going to end up with a guy who's not even startable. So where is he going? Like 7th, 8th round or something? I wouldn't draft him there.
So we have Brees Hall, who, like you said, some people are optimistic, some people are very pessimistic, such as the Mad Science Lab podcast, who's saying Hall won't even play by week 3. So at this rate, which one do you think is more affected by the team signing a starter? Do you think that it's Ramondre Stevenson? Do you think we see the biggest drop in ADP from him, or Brees Hall? And then which one finishes your season at the top of those two?
That's a good question. I think Brees, better player, not better health. And then Brees has a better backup, though. That's tough. I would say Brees.
Did I stump you?
Not really stump. Maybe a little stump because I'm just not sure. I've never.
I think that's the definition of a stump is when you get asked a question that you cannot answer because you're not sure.
But I'm never the type of guy who's like, I don't know. Are you like this where you see news happen and then you're automatically like you just adjust your ranks in 5-10 minutes and like process it immediately? Because I never work like that.
No, I think that it does need to be thought about, but I do think that in order to, like if I have my draft this week, I think that I need actionable advice from time to time. So I do make an educated decision.
Oh wow. Okay, I see it. I see how it is. You're like,
but
not real advice.
No, I think you have to make an educated decision at some point, right? Like, okay, you come across a question on a test, right? Like you might be tilted, but you still got to make a decision for the people, man. For the people. I'll say Brees Hall. I will say that Brees Hall is going about a round later, I believe, in ADP currently.
So I changed my answer. Can I just always align with ADP?
It's always aligned with ADP. So ADP has Ramondre going at 34 and Brees Hall going
what ADP?
Whoa. I'm sorry?
What ADP?
34 overall.
No, what site? What?
Oh, source? I'm using Fantasy Pros right now.
Because all this happened so recently, I don't know how updated it is. Because I feel like that's where Ramondre was going before this. He might fall around.
Yeah, I think Ramondre was right at the back of the second round. And this would put him at the
2-3 turn. And this would put him at the end of the third. Yeah, I guess that's valid.
Yeah. Anyways.
Damn, I've seen Brees fall to like 5th, 6th round.
Yeah, it's crazy how far he falls, man. It's nuts, especially with underdog.
Yeah,
underdog.
Versus what kind of player he is. I don't know. Maybe it's like a dynasty lens, but I've been buying him so much in dynasty because in dynasty these things don't really matter as much.
Yeah. Yeah, because the outcome is typically based off the talent of the player versus a minor injury that occurs in the age.
Right. And plus, honestly, you want to obviously every week matters, but my mentality is like if there's definitely a discount, I don't mind drafting the type of player that you can sort of not tank, but you can waste a couple of weeks, because at the end of the day, like one player not performing very well for a week, that happens with all kinds of players, and it's not going to sink a single week. It can, but a lot of times, a lot of fantasy football matchups aren't close. Like there's a lot of games where you'll have boom weeks from your opponent and you'll lose by 20, or you'll have boom games from people on your team and you win by 20. Like a lot of the times, and this is why like start-sit decisions don't really matter, because it's all up in the air. It's all random.
I think that's why there's more importance that should be based off of high upside versus just like a consistent floor that matter for start-sit.
Yeah. Can we predict high? I don't know. A little bit, but I think we really can't predict high upside versus high floor.
Yeah, you could have an allowed explosive pass rate on defense and have a team that throws downfield more often than anybody else, and you could take the deep threats on that team and get an optimization level of, this team allows big time passing plays. This team performs and gives up produces big time passing plays. So
that's certainly there. I'm saying there is situations where sometimes it works out, but that happens on the aggregate ratio. Let's go on the aggregate. There's definitely you definitely will see that kind of things. But if you're like talking about one player versus another, a lot of the time, like you can maybe like change it from a 50-50 decision. It's like not even 55-45, like 52-48.
Well, you also have players that like a Keenan Allen, right, who will rarely give you that splash performance. Marquise Brown, right, who's actually thought to be a big time best ball type player, isn't actually a best ball player. He is actually very consistent in terms of like his fantasy production. I think over his first couple of years, maybe not recently, just because of the Arizona thing. But
Marquise Brown's first ever game, he ran 8 routes. He was targeted on 5 of them. He caught 4 of them for 148 yards.
That was 2 touchdowns. And ever since then, he's been pronounced as the best ball player. But his production is actually pretty consistent in terms of fantasy points from week to week. Well, at least was, like I said, up until he was with the Cardinals. All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
Situation's horrible. Continue. I think I managed to escape this one without giving a definite answer, which is perfect.
Oh, you dig.
Go ahead.
You said,
I don't want to interrupt you. Continue.
All right, fine. We're moving on to Treylon Burks. Obviously, the LCL comes in. He gets hurt. Everybody feared the worst, right? We're seeing every Twitter doctor in the whole Twitter sphere saying, he tore his MCL. That looks like a hamstring. I don't know how you say it looks like a hamstring.
The video was like 50 feet away, 100 feet away. Not even 50, because 50 is like 16.66 yards, dude. That shit was like, he was standing at midfield and he caught a touchdown in the end zone, and it happened, and everyone's talking about, I think it's
the way he twisted went down. It looks like I wonder if anybody guessed an LCL strain on all Twitter, like just that, like somebody comes out and they say, I predict that he comes out with an LCL strain and he's out for 3 weeks. I'm very curious if somebody's on Twitter right now, like on their computer, please look that up for me as we continue to. Akash, you don't need to do it because I want to see in the chat. Although I think you're doing it right now.
No, dude, that shit works if like you're watching the Cardinals game and Kyler goes down and you put the film in slow motion and you're like, okay, you can see his hamstring pop back here, which indicates an instability, which it likely indicates an ACL tear, and that works because you're watching HD film of an NFL game. Cell phone
100 yards
from
away.
50 yards away.
I think the pass was 50 yards. I think he was additional 50 yards and probably another 20 yards up in the air because it kind of looked like they were from the stands. Yeah. I know. They definitely nailed that one. No, so and at least it didn't look good, especially being non-contact. Turns out that it's not nearly that bad. He'll probably be ready for at least week 1, not week 3.
Yeah, week 3.
It's said a few weeks, so
yeah. I think 2 to 6 is what I saw someone saw. I saw someone else say 4 to 7. Someone say 2 to 4. I'll just say 2 to 7.
They all predict different injuries throughout the process of assuming what injury actually occurred during that. No, but I do have to wonder how this affects Traylon Burks' ADP for redraft leagues, because they're going to see these injured, right? They're going to see a bunch of different controversial reports. And I think that actually helps in redraft leagues for the ADP, right? Like he's going to drop at least 6, 7, maybe even a round.
Dude, yeah, the red dot effect is crazy. I saw him go 135 divided by 12 is like 11.25 plus 1, so 12.25. So he went as a 1204. No, 1203. Yeah. And yeah, he went at 1203 and 1 after going like a 7th or something. Also, you see those calculations real quick?
Yeah, but I'm like, wait, is that right? Because the end of the 12th round is 144. You said what, 135?
35, yep.
Yeah, so that's right.
It is right.
Yeah. But all you have to do is multiply 12 times 12 and then just subtract it.
You divide by 12. Oh, I divided 135 by 12 and I got 11.25.
In my mind, I just go to the closest end digit behind 12, right? So if it's the 6th round, you just multiply times 48, like 72nd overall. Yeah. But that was good. I enjoyed your calculations.
Thank you.
I really did. I genuinely enjoyed your mind working on that one. It was great.
Thank you. Yeah, but like 12th round versus where he was going before, where like what, 8th, 9th, 7th on underdog, maybe. I don't know ADP.
We're looking at 90th overall right now for Traylon Burks.
Oh fuck! No, I have to calculate that.
It's the end of
806.
Yeah. Yes. So that was great. I do think that he ends up falling at least to double digits, right? Or potentially double digits, close enough to it.
Yeah.
I think that he's worth it there. I was not willing to take him unless he fell a little bit further. I just don't know how the Tennessee Titans pass enough. Are you in the same boat? How do you feel about Traylon Burks as a whole?
Well, I have a very easy stance in Dynasty, but in redraft it's a little trickier. Yeah, dude, Dynasty. I'll get the Dynasty after redraft. He could fall if he's falling like 3 extra rounds for a couple games. I'm still taking him because either like he's not a guy that you were expecting to start at the very beginning. Not that you were like waiting for him to ramp up, because it's like week 1 you see if he's real or not, or a couple weeks you see if he's real or not. But if he's missing those couple of weeks, it's not going to be a huge hit to your team. He's a good guy to have on your bench because he still does have high upside, I think.
Yeah, dude, his metrics were fine, throughout all of 2022, especially for a rookie.
Yeah, it was good. It was a solid rookie season. Obviously, he got a couple injuries. There's some games that he didn't play at the beginning of the season. Normal stuff. He didn't play a lot of snaps. But on a per route basis, he was good. Not amazing or anything, because that whole passing offense was not very conducive to anything. But he showed that he's. I think he's proven that he's a capable NFL player. Like, he's not going to be Laquan Treadwell. I almost said Treadmill. Laquan Treadwell. But then from there, it's like, okay, what kind of role do you see? Like, DeAndre Hopkins could definitely be a guy who still sees not even like 24, 25. I think he could see like 27 to 28% target share if he hits the high end of what he's capable of doing. But obviously, he still has I still think the floor is around like 20 to 22% target share. And then Burks I think that's around Burks' median. I think you can look at Burks like.
So wait, are you predicting with Traylon Burks to have a higher targets percentage than DeAndre Hopkins this year, or do you think they're going to fall about equal?
No, I think Hopkins has equal. I'm saying that Hopkins' floor is around Burks' median.
Okay.
Yeah. I made the chart somewhere on my phone. When did Hopkins sign, man? Did I scroll past it?
He signed 3 weeks ago?
Really? That recent?
It might have been a little bit further, but I don't think that matters, as much. I'm more so looking. Oh, you're looking through Twitter.
No, I was looking through on my camera roll.
So gotcha.
I have this. I made a chart of like what percentile of NFL teams have their first target have a certain role and their second target have a certain role, and then their top 2 having combined target shares for this. The 50 percentile team, the average team, has their top 2 targets combined for 44% of the targets. And I'm saying that Hopkins at 25 and Burks at 21, 22 would be combining for like around 46 to 50-ish.
Yeah.
And so it's around like 60 to 70th percentile. It's a low volume offense, so it's going to be more concentrated. They don't really have anyone outside of those two guys. We don't
Kyle
buy.
Phillips going to take a 15% target. I think Okonkwo could do something.
Fine. Okonkwo can be fine.
No, I was talking about Kyle Phillips having 15%. I'm saying hell no.
No.
Okonkwo could have 15, maybe 17%.
I think it's pretty low. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I think Okonkwo getting to that percentage is fine. Everything else is going to be dispersed. So for them to have like a 40% target share between the two, I think is
low.
I think it's low.
I think they could push 50 to not 55. They could push 50. Yeah.
I'm thinking 50, 52% between the two of them, and I think they're both going to put out an equal, essential like
50 is like
production
85th
profile.
Percentile. Really equal?
I think they're going to have a equal fantasy finish. We'll say at the end of the season.
Hopkins to Burks?
Yeah, I think they're going to be pretty close. I do.
Are you low on Hopkins?
Yes, I am. I'm very low on Hopkins.
You should have led with that. I like Burks. Like I said, he had a good rookie season. The thing about low passing offense, and so for Burks, like if he has like a wide receiver 2 kind of target share, you're looking at wide receiver 3 numbers, which is kind of rough, but he should have spike weeks.
Well, in round 10, if you're getting double-digit rounds on him, if he falls in that ADP,
I mean
that's a win.
They could pass more, not that much more, but like
I don't think they're gonna pass too much.
You're probably right.
You're also gonna take Spears into account, right? No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, every time you have a low volume offense, there's always a chance that they can be really efficient. The efficiency is a thing. The volume can stay low, but the efficiency can be nice with these two weapons. Like when they had AJ Brown and Corey Davis, both of them were top 30 with AJ Brown in the top 12. And so that's definitely a possible outcome. I think it's less likely without Arthur Smith, because Arthur Smith's horrible for Pitts and London, but he knows how to run a damn good scheme for like making an efficient offense. And I think Tannehill starts like the majority of the year, dude. Unless Tannehill gets hurt, I don't think Levis is like ever gonna start a lot. Like maybe a couple games if they're horrible. But there's reports that he's losing the 2 job to Willis, and Willis is awful too. So Tannehill's like a good starting quarterback in the NFL, and then Levis, I was like, this guy is gonna be horrible. He's gonna be a horrible first round prospect if he goes in the top first round. And I was like, if he goes in the top 5, he's gonna be one of the worst top 5 prospects. When he fell to the second, I was like, this is where he deserves to be. He's gonna be future Drew Lock, and I think that's pretty accurate.
Jeff George.
Dude, Drew Lock was behind like Joe Flacco, and he only started 5 games for rookie season.
So let's go ahead and let's hop over to the fantasy landscape for 2023. I want to see how some things are shaking out for you, how you're feeling about it. If you're liking the ADP, or we'll say if you like the expert consensus rankings over the ADP. So in other words, you would actually draft this player where he's getting ranked by the experts thus far on Fantasy Pros. I want you to let me know if you feel good about that or you think they should kick rocks. We're going to start out with Nick Chubb. All right, Nick Chubb is going borderline first, second round in single quarterback leagues. He and this is obviously for redraft. Experts say that he should be the 4th player off the board. How do you feel about that?
Dog, what? Can you kill me? 4th player, I have JJ. I would rather have JJ Chase, CMC, Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, Travis Kelce, Austin Eckler, Bijan Robinson, Stephon Diggs.
Did you say Kelce?
Yeah, I did.
Cooper Kupp?
I meant to. Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly CeeDee Lamb for me. AJ Brown for me. I would take Amon-Ra St. Brown for me, but we'll jump into these players later. Why do you think the expert consensus is getting so high on Nick Chubb?
Yeah, I don't know how many what wide receivers are ahead of him, because there's no way he's ahead of Eckler and CMC. So
yeah, he is
ranking 4.
No, he's ahead of those guys. So it's
is he what, RB1?
Yeah, he's RB1. It's Travis Kelce, Jamar Chase.
He's never even finished in the top 5.
JJ.
CMC lives in the top 1. He lives in the top
Kareem
3.
Hunt leaving town must change everything for how Nick Chubb is now viewed. It's because people think he's going to get targets, but Deshaun Watson doesn't target the running back. He just doesn't.
Dude,
he also
quarterbacks
doesn't use...
in general don't target Nick Chubb.
Yes. And quarterbacks in general don't target Nick Chubb. So now when you take the two combined, it just makes no sense to me as to why people are thinking that Nick Chubb is going to be the way that he is. Sean Watson doesn't utilize them in the red zone, right? He's never going to audible to running back into carry inside the 5 when he can run or he can pass. That's just who Deshaun Watson is. And we look at the history with Deshaun Watson, right? He's never utilized a running back as much as he can help it unless it's inside the 20s because he knows there's not that much opportunity. But even when it comes to red zone opportunities, whenever Deshaun Watson's on the field, the red zone opportunities drop because he's throwing dimes from the 30-yard line, or at least he's attempting to throw dimes from the 30-yard line. They didn't look like dimes last year. So
Bijan Robinson has a better chance to finish in the top 3 than Nick Chubb does.
I agree with you 100% on that. I don't understand.
Like there's a 0% chance that Nick Chubb tops 20, 21 points per game, and I think that's like that's like Bijan's 75th percentile. So there's like room above that for him.
Yeah, he's not in tier 1 for me. I'll tell you that. All right, let's
Bijan's
hop on.
fantastic, bro. Like everything that you want from a running back is everyone knows that already. But like, I don't know. Imagine if Nick Chubb, maybe like 90% of Nick Chubb is a rusher, but if he could catch, and that's Bijan.
Yeah, it's not even relatively close for me. Let's hop over to Derrick Henry.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about something real quick, dude. This isn't like fantasy relevant at all. Like, don't mistake me saying this is fantasy relevant. But I like just started playing Madden Mobile again, and I play with the Falcons because I'm from Atlanta. I like the Falcons, and there's a play where Bijan runs like a 15-yard slant route, and that shit scores every fucking time. Like he'll beat a fucking safety on a slant route.
I can't with you.
Not fantasy relevant, but he's a fucking
God.
receiver, dog.
Come check out Akash for his Madden takes.
Not even real Madden, dude. Fucking Madden Mobile, which runs. I don't think they've updated the graphics since 2016. But it doesn't matter. It's Madden on my phone, man.
The Mad Chatter says hello. Hello.
Is that Chester?
Yeah, I think so. Should be. If it's not, that'd be really weird. That
why not Mad
was in
Chester?
a group chat and yeah.
Oh yeah.
But also, I don't know. All right, let's hop over to Derrick Henry.
You knock over any prominent Yahoo fantasy analyst recently?
What did he do?
You not know? Huh? Me, him, and Matt Harmon were taking a picture, and he tries to like reach out to me, and he just knocked him and Matt Harmon over, and they both ended up on the ground at the Friday party, and they crushed like the metal barrier behind them got bent.
No way. Oh, that's awesome. That's amazing. Come here for Madden takes and FF Expo stories. Oh, I love that. I love that so much.
Insane, bro.
All right.
Crazy shit.
Let's hop down to Derrick Henry real quick. Derrick Henry is 11 spots above his ADP. Guess what his ADP is first off?
Like, I don't know, 206.
Yeah, you're actually almost like right there on spot. I think it's like 209. He's going at the 21st overall. I love how you looked on your screen super hard before answering that question, you cheater. No, I'm just kidding. What would you guess the ADP or what the expert consensus ranking is on Derrick Henry? That's how we're going to do this game.
8th overall.
10th, because I think I let you know a little bit on that. So would you agree closer to the expert consensus ranking or ADP. The ADP?
ADP is what, end of the second? Yeah, I agree with the ADP. What experts are these, dude? Are they just like a bunch of old heads, 50-year-olds who still draft 8 running backs in the first round?
Maybe some are still from the 2022 season. I'm not 100% sure on that. But it's 112 experts with 165 available. So I'm guessing the other 50 probably are a little bit outdated.
Do you have like all of them clicked or just the ones that are updated? Like we're not going to see any.
No, it should just be the ones that are updated. No Antonio Brown. It looks like these are the ones that are updated. Okay. I don't understand I mean, I like the Derrick Henry hype a little bit to an extent. Like I'm not that high on Derrick Henry, but I could see him finishing somewhat closer to RB5. You're not including injuries, right? Like if you're including injuries, RB10 seems about right. He finished last year pretty well after dealing with a couple injuries, I think, in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, good
I
player.
think that, I think that he could end up producing at a similar rate. And I think we take dynasty rankings too much into account a lot of times in the Twitter offseason. So I'm a little bit closer to the expert consensus rankings, but I definitely am not taking him before like RB7. I definitely have Saquon ahead of him, Jonathan Taylor ahead of him. I think where he falls in line for me is like the Tony Pollard, Josh Jacobs area.
What do you think happens with JT?
I'm sorry?
What do you think happens with JT?
What do I think happened with JT?
Happens
today? Oh, wait, with the sign or with the
like,
contracts?
In general. Yeah. What do you think happens?
Who knows? Did it come out why he took a personal day?
No, I think he's just being dramatic. Not in like a bad way.
No, he got team permission. He said he had an emergency away. From the team.
It's like, who knows? I don't think we're going to know, but
Yeah.
I think this is. We got some time. We got 3-4 weeks before the season.
I think they figure it out. I don't think he gets a new contract, but I think they figure it out.
Yeah. They should just extend him like 1 year or something, like Saquon. That deal was so weird.
that was a weird deal. Let's go to Patrick Mahomes.
Oh,
all right.
Okay.
So his ranking is at overall 22 in single quarterback leagues. His ADP is 8 spots below that. Do you agree with expert consent? Oh, I'm sorry, 8 spots above that.
Wait,
do you agree
what?
with?
ADP so he's getting, has him at 14.
Yeah.
Dog, let's be so fucking for real, dude.
Dude, I remember when Aaron Rodgers was going in the first round.
Yeah.
Back like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I was about to say 2009, dog.
Yeah. It was probably in 2009. I'm not even kidding you.
No, dude. I mean, this shit's real. I mean, my uncle texted me the other day. Like, I'm walking up the expo, and he texts me. He's like, "I have first overall. Who should I pick?" I say, JJ or Chase, and he's like, "Not Mahomes."
All right, so obviously we're both on the same page with that. Are you a little bit shocked about how these quarterbacks are going so early? It feels like they're going earlier than they did any year, and we still had these question marks, right? We still had these picks like Aaron Rodgers, for example, that went at the 101. But I mean, we're seeing Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. All three of these guys are ranked in expert consensus rankings in the top 25. Is that just seem bizarre to you?
No, I don't think so. Like, people are really starting to catch on about how valuable these quarterbacks are when they're in the very top. I think before there was a lot of obvious, dude. JJ's fucking awesome, but his whole movement of like late round QB, it really took hold. I don't want to say, but like I say awesome, but like the movement wasn't awesome. It was a good movement, because like 10 years ago, that was real. Like, you could find a lot of replaceable quarterbacks. But now, like, especially with Konami code, there's like a lot of the very defined top tier. And so a lot of these quarterbacks, they have really good, like, points above replacement, to the point where it's like, okay, like having a top 3 QB is like equal to having like a RB in like the 8 to 10 range, or like wide receiver in the 8 to 10 range. And that's valid, like, obviously, like, we can't be like, we have to rank them somewhere. You can't just say like, you can't take quarterbacks off your board and say, I'll just punt to late round QB forever, because people are starting to catch on. I saw a tweet earlier today that was like the ADP of QB6, and it was, I believe it's moved up from like the 7th round into like the 5th round or something like that over the last 6
it's crazy how much they're rising.
And that's valid. I think there's definitely a very defined tier of like 7 top quarterbacks.
But it feels like 7 is so much more than previous years. Like when we look at Justin Herbert, right? Who's what, QB5-ish? Let me actually look. He's right here. QB7, right? Justin Herbert's QB7 right now. Like, he's producing at a level that's not that far of a gap as like Patrick Mahomes is what I think we've seen 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't see.
That's valid. The 7th is, yeah.
Like, and he's going 48 compared to 20, with Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes going at well, actually, Patrick Mahomes for ADP wise is going at like 14. But in terms of the expert consensus rankings, he's, 20th. Meanwhile, Herbert's sitting at QB7. That's only maybe 3 or 4 points a game gap tops, and that's with the upside. We might not even see that because of the type of offense that's ran with Kellen Moore.
Yeah, definitely. Herbert definitely has that upside. He was hurt last year, and before that, he produced a QB2 season. I would like to have a lot of both of them. More of Herbert because of that. That's some good value. But like you look at like right next to Mahomes ADP for like running backs is like Henry or JT, and then next to Herbert's you have like Mixon or Aaron Jones. So you have guys who are like probably expected to get about 16-ish points per game versus guys who are maybe get 13, 14. And so that's the same 3-point difference. Like you just finding them in different places.
That's true. That's a great point.
And it all depends on your construction because you can find you can find running backs later who replace and give you solid production for a couple weeks, like 0 RB candidates. And you can also stream QBs at times. And there's guys later like the nasty boy Deshaun Watson who are like bounce back candidates, and Russell Wilson bounce back candidate. Anthony Richardson could be Konami code and finish in the top 8. And so it's like
Trevor Lawrence is somebody that's interesting for me. I think Trevor Lawrence can end up being in the top 5 this year very easily. Yeah,
he's going about a round after Herbert, and so like it's the same distance between like Lawrence and Herbert to like Fields or something like that.
All right, so let's hop over to a guy that referred to. You didn't refer to him being the nasty boy, but he's related to. How do you say that? The nasty boy. Is that how you said it?
Nah, that's like sassy. That's
sassy. You need to go back and watch the film. Go check it out. Like 45 minutes.
Little accent, little flair, but like, dude, he's just a straight up. If we're talking about this, we're talking about he's just a straight up nasty person, but he's still a fantasy football bounce back candidate. So
Amari Cooper, the guy that he's related to, is he going to have the same? No, in terms of success, yes. They're going to be in a lot of related conversations. Okay, all right. They're gonna be.
Let's keep those conversations PG-13.
Their relations are going to be very intertwined. So, first off, is he going to have a better season than he did last year? Is he going to be worse off with potentially better quarterback play, or do we see Jacoby Brissett just target the hell out of Amari Cooper to the first 2 weeks of the season?
Well, let's see where his production was last year, because off the top of my head, I imagine it's a wide receiver too, because that's all he's ever done his entire career.
Yeah, I think it was high end wide receiver too, but it was up. It wasn't.
17th in points per game.
Okay, yeah,
he has
mid-round
wide receiver in the top 12. It's so
bizarre.
Consistent. Yeah, no, that's real.
What was more bizarre was his up until this season was his home versus away fantasy point splits. That was insane until this season.
Yeah, those are a little silly. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think I ever really saw them that much because I don't take.
Ben Roethlisberger was the only other one that had a massive gap in his home versus away.
Dude, I remember one of my friends in this industry. Like, I saw like a post he made back in like 2019 or something like that, 2020, I think, where he just had like an entire post dedicated to like, if you're streaming QBs, like get like Matt Ryan and Ben Roethlisberger and just start whoever's playing like Matt Ryan when he's in the dome and then Roethlisberger when he's home.
No, I think it was for Roethlisberger. I think it was when he was away.
He was away? Oh, okay.
Yeah. No. It might have been when he was home, but I think it was when he was away because he would just run the hell out of it at home in the cold weather. But whatever it was. And then there was there was one other player that had a bizarre split, but it was every other year. He was good versus bad. Was that?
I mean, Matt Ryan did that for a few years. Leonard Fournette did that. I think he's still doing that. Maybe not last year.
He probably is.
Right, but like he was really doing that. I'm talking like top 7, top 8 in odd years, and then outside the top 40 in years.
It was bad.
And then last year, I think he broke it. And then Kareem Hunt was doing something similar because one year he would lead the league in rushing, and the next he would assault a woman, and then
dude, that's fucked up. Stop. All right, DJ Moore is up on a lot of people's dockets, including my own. I do think that
I
DJ
still
Moore,
did not answer the Amari question.
I don't care at this point.
Change
We
the
went off on
topic
a tangent.
immediately.
Well, we only got 10 minutes left, so I'm trying to cover as much of the show as we possibly can.
Okay.
So DJ Moore is somebody that is popping up on my radar a lot this year. I think that the offseason reports have swayed me more than any offseason reports in my history of covering fantasy football. I do think that the chemistry is real. I think that they're connecting on a different level. I think that DJ Moore has finally found his dude, and I think that Justin Fields has finally found somebody to throw to since he was at Ohio State. 'Cause it's been bad, man. It's been real bad. But the best part is, what's up?
I don't know. I was just like, I'm on Player Profiler just so I can like have a couple stats up. I search up Moore. It shows me Sky Moore, Elijah Moore, Rondell Moore, and Chris Moore. Like, bro, I don't. What the fuck? Show me the one who fucking matters. Jesus.
DJ. Well, did you put dots in the beginning of his screen?
No, I just typed Moore.
Oh shit, yeah. Well, I mean, nobody wants to look up Moore because he's just old news, right? Like he's just been average, doing everything. What, 4 touchdowns a year every year?
I think he had 5 last year, even maybe.
Was it? Oh, 1 touchdown more. Damn.
7 even. Wow, impressive.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He had a slightly better year last year, but the bigger thing is like,
no, he
all
didn't.
right.
He had 800 yards.
Oh yeah, when he's used to having 1,000, but it was similar in fantasy point finishes, I think.
It's like 12 versus 14. It was like awful,
Similar.
But it's still really good target share. He's always been that kind of guy who's had a good role. It's just never been a. Just 27, 28 last year.
Oh,
maybe it's 26 if. Fucking yeah, I don't know. There's every different site counts passes like or dropbacks differently. But anyways, like he'll have a good role,
you know.
And yeah, the Bears last year passed like the fewest amount of times since the Bush administration, the second Bush, but still.
Well, they had nobody to throw to.
Yeah, I know, and it'll go up. Like just variance, it'll go up. Like they're not gonna repeat that again, like because it's infeasible. The Falcons did it too, and they're also not gonna do it again. But instead of like 22 pass attempts, you're probably gonna be looking at like 28 to 30, which is still gonna be bottom 3 in the league. But at least with that, like you can have a single good weapon. And if you have like even like when you have lower volume offenses, they'll get more concentrated. So it's like you could see more having like a 28% target share. And if you're on that, like you can have even on that really low volume offense, you can produce wide receiver 2 numbers.
Yeah, I mean, at least Just Fields have to work through his progressions, right? He can just look at one guy, DJ Moore, the whole time. And dude, honestly, I feel like DJ Moore could actually assume a 30% target share this upcoming season. That's why
maybe
I like
if they're really low volume, if the volume stays really low,
maybe
you will see it concentrate on more guys. But then that's not like it'll probably stay around the same usefulness for fantasy. Like I don't know. One thing I've noticed, and it doesn't always work 100%, but like offenses will expand and contract to fit the personnel they have. And so like, even when you have like percentage stats, a lot of the times, like the total stats can still give you like a good idea of what stuff's going to look like. Like an example would be when you had the Buccaneers offense a couple of years ago with AB, Gronk, Mike, and Godwin. Like all of their peripherals were down, but because they were all so good, like they're good players, they had a good quarterback. They passed 45 times a game.
Yeah, I was just about to say because the passing attempts are so far up.
Right, because we have all these weapons. Like let's just make a really dangerous passing game, get them all involved, and be really
even Lenny had a decent like target share to an extent.
You know, like they all stayed productive players, and so like you could see, obviously not perfectly, but like. With Moore, like you have him go in as like this kind of player, and like if the volume goes up, you might see the road decrease a little bit because when you're adding in the plans, and you're like, okay, we have this plan for Moore, but then it's like, okay, like Mooney or Claypool is better than we expected them to, so let's add in like 2-3 more passing plays a game, and maybe they're for the other guys, and so the share might go down, but the role stays pretty similar. And so, yeah, he could push 30, but it won't be a 30 that's like – it'll be like Drake London's 30 last year.
All right, so I'm going to give you DJ Moore at, let's see, 44 overall ranked. Okay. Or DJ Moore at 55 overall ranked.
Huh? What? Like what?
Which one would
ADP?
you prefer? One of them's ADP, one of them is the rank.
What do you mean? Which one I prefer? The one that's later, right?
I'm
Let's say
sorry?
which is closer to where I have him.
Wait, where do you have him at?
I don't know. Like you say which one would I prefer? Obviously, you prefer to get a player later. What were the two options? 40.
I can't tell you the ADP because last time you deferred to the ADP.
Oh, yeah. One of them is 44, and the other is
55.
which one is closer to me? Probably the 55. I don't know. I don't do rankings.
You took him. You took him at the ADP. There you go.
I don't know. Maybe the 44. I think I'd have him in the middle.
44 is the rankings. 55 is the ADP.
Who's to say? He's probably be late 40s for me, like early.
So you're right in the
fifth
middle.
round. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know, because like I don't know. He's a guy that he should have a good role, and I think good wide receiver 2 numbers for him. But it's really hard to project him to finish as a top 12 wide receiver.
Dude, it gets absurd later in these picks, man. Like some of these are like 33, like DJ Chark, 33.
Do you see
above
DJ
ADP.
Chark's reception perception?
No, is it
It
good?
was like all red and one
Oh,
green.
I love DJ Chark.
Dude, why? He's your Kenny Gainwell now.
No, he's always
He's
like,
awful, man. He's terrible.
dude, he always produces. Like you can sit there and
Produces
say like
what? What does he
decent fantasy
produce?
points for his target share.
For his target share, but like his target share is not good.
He plays a limited snap route because he's been coming back from injury, and also like he had an offense that wanted to run the ball. You know, we talk about the Lions, like in
He ranked
the time that he
91st
played.
in target rate last year.
Yeah, but he only played like 5 games.
Target
Target rate.
That's like
Really?
per route.
Per route. Yeah, really.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's
He had
interesting.
9 points per game. Like just he's a role player.
Yeah.
Like the last time he had anything above 12 points per game was the Trump administration.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Wait, are you talking about throughout a season?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, got you. Not per game.
No, that's per game.
I mean, I meant
In
an actual game, yes.
Yeah, last year, like I remember, like he was going against the Vikings, and everyone was like,
Yeah.
"Start him," and then he caught a touchdown. I was like, "Sure, man, okay."
Yeah, no, I always used to use him in DFS. He was my DFS sweetheart in certain games.
Yeah. Now he's on the Panthers, and like
No.
when everyone's talking about like, dude, the Panthers have no weapons. That includes DJ Chark. And
Best
so like I
ball
see,
only for DJ Chark.
sure, because in redraft it's like you're never gonna start him, and best ball it's like
No.
you can have a couple spike weeks. Like everyone's like, there's so much different content of like blank has no competition in Carolina, and the blank can either be Marshall, Chark, Thielen, Mingo, and it doesn't matter. They're all bad. All of them are no competition to each other. Who cares?
Wow, expert consensus rankings on Sam Laporta is 50 spots below ADP.
What the fuck?
That's bizarre.
I think that's but maybe like a couple of them like
An update,
updated it a couple weeks ago, and then the buzz starts to hit, and
Dude,
they just had him
he's
like
been hot since the draft happened.
yeah, he's a good prospect. I really like him because I remember like in a lot of dynasty rookie drafts, he was going like end of the second, and I had him like 203 or something like that. So I have him in a lot of leagues, and it's nice. Like more like I more than Kincaid, because like, dude, look, like Kincaid versus Laporta is like, I don't know, it's so close, and I think Laporta's a better prospect other than draft capital. Yeah, other than draft capital, and the draft capital matters a little bit because Kincaid's so old, and he was like so underproductive to start at such a low thing. He produced late and it's solid, and he's got first round capital, but like Kincaid at 10 versus Laporta at 16, it's like not a conversation. And like Laporta like later than that because he was going like 20 or something at ADP in rookie drafts.
I was thinking about this earlier. You know how like they're, certain people are less attractive at a certain age, like in high school or whatever, right? And as they get older, they slowly get more attractive, but they're still not that attractive. And then all of a sudden they just hit this sweet spot. And they could be like 24 years old, right? When they hit their sweet spot, and all of a sudden they're like super attractive out of nowhere, right? But they weren't attractive when they were 22, right? Like they were okay. They were pretty, or they were handsome or whatever you're into. Like, why isn't
what?
a breakout age. Like, why isn't a breakout age, right, affected in like David Robinson's case, right, where he grew 8 inches by the time he was like from 21 to 22, or maybe it was 22 to 23. Like, you have certain players that can break out physically in different areas. And sure, an earlier breakout rate typically shows a high level of efficiency, right? Because that player's more talented. That player's going to have more opportunities. That player's going to put himself in a better role. But why can't somebody still break out like a Zay Flowers, for example, or somebody like
Devonta Smith?
Yeah, where they're just
Devonta Smith is a fantastic like this is like Peter Howard, like quote, I'm quoting him. He said Devonta Smith is a fantastic prospect if you give him a run up.
Yeah,
that's all it worked
I think
out.
that should be factored in.
But what do you mean factored in? That just gets
think
rid of it. That just gets rid of breakout age. Then you just look at any production ever.
It
like
doesn't.
Early production is age-adjusted production is shown to work, and
yeah, you're right.
It's shown like obviously, and this works. You can have it two ways, where it's like if you're really harsh about it, you can be like he produced late, like, and that makes me like really out on him. Or, and this is more level-headed, where it's like if like you have like I'm not even gonna get into like yards per team passing number, like percentage of receiving yards, because fucking no one understands it. But like if you say like, for example, in like a certain fuck yeah, hell yeah, but like in a certain, if you're like in a certain offense, if you're like 19 years old and you have 600 yards, it's like equal in terms of how impressed you are as if that same guy in the same offense had 800 yards at 21. And that's the adjustment you can make.
Chris Olave was one that like really hit for me, right? Because Chris Olave, ended up sticking around. He was outproduced by some of the other wide receivers on his team, stuck around till late, and then he ends up coming out and becoming like one of the best receivers potentially. Like he could be.
Yeah, I'm so high on him now.
Too within, like, I was not high on him because I wasn't
high, but now I am. He's fantastic. Yeah, like that kind of rookie season that he has. That kind of rookie season you have, you drop every single prior that you had. Like you like I could totally see how wrong I was because you saw how good he was early in college, and it's just that he stuck around. And senior season wasn't amazing compared to his junior season. That that we have seen players before where that ends up being something that is not an ideal profile. Obviously, it's not like everything's there. It's not like there's no red flags. Like there's like orange flags there. But then after all that, you're still like, okay, never mind. Like those are a red flag herring.
So let's go ahead and talk about why Nathaniel Dell is the dude this year that is going to break that trend.
Dude, oh my goodness. It was like he's like 24, 5'8".
He's 23.8.
That's fine, man.
He's 5'8". He scores touchdowns. He's really good.
He's good, like bobbling touch. He's good at catching a touchdown on the second bounce. Just like Trey Lance.
Yeah, that was funny. No, it was like, so I did a breakdown on Twitter one day, and it just talked about the top receivers, or the receivers to finish top in receiving over the past 4 years. And we had like Devonta Smith on there. I think, Jamar Chase was on there, and then of course Tank Dell was on there.
Dell led.
Like he's ready to break that trend. He needed a run up. He just needed a run up.
Like hell of a run up then. He's a third rounder, senior.
Long run up.
That's a really long run up. Like, well, I not Dell, but like I remember, like, dude, Ian Miller at Dynasty IM. Fucking the best tweet I've seen from him recently is that Kincaid was in the same recruiting class as like Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Kyle Pitts, stuff like that. Like I think Jamar Chase, he's like, imagine if those guys played college football last season. How fucking stupid would they go?
Yeah. I think Jamar Chase.
Obviously, everyone ages differently, so it's like, yeah, Kincaid didn't come out because he wasn't ready, and he wasn't developed as ready for it.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I think that players need that,
Yeah, but then also being more physically ready, especially at a young age where it takes time to adjust to college. That shows a lot of different things, and some things like also get accounted for in draft capital. But like, there's a lot of like reasons why it works that you can come up with, and they sound feasible. Like, yeah, this guy's he's better at sticking to a college program. Like he's better at sticking to the routines that they have. He's more coachable. He picks up a playbook faster. All these things that you can come up with, like more physically able. Like You know, 'cause a
Well,
lot of
does
guys.
that give players to go to a small school that come out as an early declare a potential advantage because they don't have the same training regimen, same habits that maybe were created at a bigger school, right? Like they go to the smaller school, which is obviously under coach, probably underfunded, probably under developed, like when it comes to the right nutritions and everything that they're ingesting in their bodies. Like, could it give these players to come out at an early age at the smaller schools an advantage? Like, is there a reason we should look into that?
Advantage? How so?
Just
You mean
because they have so
disadvantage?
much further they can go.
Oh, disadvantage. I mean, I
No,
won't
no.
pretend
Well,
to
it
have.
gave them a disadvantage, but if they're coming out
Yeah.
as an early declare, they have so much room for
Oh,
growth. They can get a run up,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Okay. I see what you mean. I don't have all the answers to this, but I will say that like draft capital is really going to tell you a lot because these guys do so much more work than we do in players, especially on like how ready they're going to be for the NFL and all of that. And you know, there's a lot of like, especially like wide receivers, especially there's some names for sure that have come out of non-Power 5 schools. Like technically Notre Dame isn't, so Claypool, Will Fuller, Devontae Adams out of Fresno State, then Sky Moore, D. Eskridge, but D. Eskridge was like 24 as a rookie. So there's definitely some hits, some like smaller hits, and maybe there's some misses with Eskridge and maybe Moore and stuff like that. So I don't know. Christian Watson's another one.
Are the Houston Cougars considered like a big time school? Because like Tank Dell was with the Houston Cougars, and maybe if that was considered a small, I'm just kidding.
They're still, dude. What? They're still.
I'm
they're
just
still
trying to get you
they're
to
still
come around,
right? So
yeah, no, I'm just messing with you. All right, man. Let's get you out of here. Right, we've been going for an hour and 5 minutes. I skipped some of the end of the end of the tail guys. I was gonna say like Marvin Mims and stuff, but I don't think we need to really go into that.
I love Mims.
Is Mims worth drafting in redraft leagues? Let's go over like 3 rookies that are worth drafting at the tail end of your drafts that are rookies this year because rookies have been making such massive impact. But yet in redraft leagues, late round really doesn't make sense. So I'm talking about redraft. Like, would you draft Marvin Mims in a 16 team? What if he gets the start? What if he's the third wide receiver? Yeah, 16 rounds.
I think he does, but like rotationally, like I'm pretty sure like to start the season, he'll definitely get some snaps, but they'll rotate like Callaway into and I don't know who else they have, but it's not going to be a huge role and it's not going to be anything very viable, but like you'll see him pick it up. And especially if you're in like a really casual league, like you can beat other players to the waiver. Like if I was like drafting a redraft league, managed all that, I would rather draft just a fuck ton of running backs who have viability and can, you know, really have a lot of usefulness if these early like training camp injuries and then like early season injuries, they'll pile up really quickly. And so you can get a lot of usability out of those picks early. And then Mims is a guy that I like him as a prospect. And I definitely think he can make noise this season, especially at the end. But he's just a guy that like the second any backup running back gets a start, you're just going to be like, yeah, I can drop him. It's fine.
So what about like a Jaden Reed or anybody? Kansas City receiver.
Rice, no.
Rashee Rice. No, not even at all.
The first ever thing I saw about Rashee Rice on Twitter was in like February or January, and it was someone comparing his agility to when he turns on the top of a route. So they say he turns like a tugboat.
That's hilarious.
He's not a very good prospect. Not as good as Reed's just not very good either.
Is there any late round wide receiver that you could see yourself investing in? Like that's a rookie. That's a rookie. Like in 16-round draft. Like, are we taking any rookie that's at the back end of those drafts?
No, they just don't have the archetypes of guys I want to draft because it's all the same type of thing where like the role is just not going to be that big to start the season. And we've seen that for all types of guys, even guys who blew up towards the end of the season, like Amon-Ra St. Brown. If there's no way you drafted him and then held on to him for 8-10 weeks of the season, his rookie season. Like, let's be 100% for real.
No way.
Like
not
even
leagues.
Even Devonta Smith, like he only had like 11 points per game in his rookie season. And it was viable, but he was going like the 7th, 8th round. And I don't know if it increased as time went along, but It probably did, just because that's like a general trend for rookie wide receivers, because their snaps go up and all that. I'm trying to think of other guys like
other rookies that are going that range.
Other rookies who are going late.
Let's see. I mean, do we consider Jameson Williams a late round rookie at this point? Let's see. Give me 1 second. I'm actually not coming across a ton for redraft. They're far down here.
Yeah.
Because everybody's taking running backs. And that's kind of the point that I was trying to get to, by the way. Like, you kind of nailed the point without realizing you're nailing the point. Was like, you want these back. Get the fuck out of here. You always want these
we were on the same page. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you did. Josh Downs.
Same thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't even invest in him, period. I don't think. Like, I don't think he's going to see the target premiums that you need to see.
He's a good prospect, but like you can't really project like a big role, like some explosive role for him.
You need that for a rookie. You need those big explosive performances. What are you doing with Israel Abanikanda?
He's the AB. I think well, not anymore. Yeah, he's not.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, he's.
I was saying before in redraft, in redraft, he used to be the guy who was like, yeah, he'll be RB2, and now it's like he's not going to be draftable. Like he's a guy away from being a guy away. So it's like dynasty. If you have him, you can hold on to him, but yeah, you don't have to bother drafting him here.
You know what's bizarre is Jake Ferguson's ADP.
Is it high?
Tight end 32.
Low? Yeah, I guess that's pretty low.
I mean, he's a starting receiver for the Cowboys who lost Dalton Schultz, right? They probably going to have to pass a little more often. I don't think they're going to be as an efficient running offense, or they might be more efficient, but they're not going to run as often. It's going to be one of the two.
Shoemaker's a second-round tight end prospect. He's a decent prospect. He's not like very good.
Tight end. He's a rookie tight end. Jake Ferguson's going to get all the starts.
Like he's expecting. I would expect him to split this, especially like maybe at the beginning it's more Fergie, but then it'll go into a split. It'll get pretty gross. But yeah, you can draft him really late, and you can see what happens for real. Like if you don't land anyone else,
there's really nobody worth rostering at the wide receiver position later. Like I mean, even I was trying to find one that I could challenge you on. Like, but I mean, we're on the same boat for it. But I was still trying to find one. I thought Marvin Mims would be the best one.
Because if it's not best ball, you're not getting like random spike weeks. So it's like, why would I draft MVS if I don't know when to start him for the spike weeks? Like that's what best ball is for. Why would I draft him outside of best ball?
Yeah, and there's nobody going in that range that you want. That's why like this draft class was so disappointing.
Well, there's some guys who are going earlier, like
that are fine.
Addison Jason, QJ Zay. They're good. They're good prospects, and they're going a lot higher in this. But as far as like who I want to draft, unless it's like really deep, like I don't know if I have Mims in Scott Fishbowl, but I think I might, and that's fine because you have 22 rounds, and so like I can hold on to him a little more. And like if I need to drop someone, I can drop like I drafted Izzy, so I can drop Izzy or I can drop some other random running back. I don't know. What running backs, like who's the best third running back on their team to draft?
On which team?
Oh fuck, I just gave you the answer. On any team, like which third running back on their depth chart on like by ADP is going to be the best to draft. I think I know.
I love Izzy.
Yeah, but like out of any team in the league, which of like the third running back by ADP is the best?
God, I mean that's such a loaded question. Just because like you have different variances.
I know the answer. You're gonna be so happy when I say.
Give me a hint.
Huh?
Oh wait, I know this one, and it's a rookie. Are you going rookie wise?
I was going anyone wise.
Yeah, I think it's Devin Chain. To be honest.
A-Chain?
Yeah, I love.
I think A-Chain's going. Is A-Chain going? But A-Chain's going ahead of the other guys. Right?
Oh, is he? Oh, you were saying according to okay, gotcha. I thought you were saying in comparison to the ADP, which is the best pick for somebody that's third on the depth chart?
Yeah.
I honestly I couldn't tell you because ADP is subjective to the app, and I'm looking at multiple different ones. Give me who it is.
I was thinking like I just played right into your hands. Like I really think it's like by ADP, it's Gainwell. I think that's a solid answer. And then also Kendra.
Oh, yeah. I don't like Kendrick Miller as much. I think that regardless, he's going to get touches taken away of no matter who starts. You can't say
He's going in like the 14th round, dude.
I still don't love him.
I think he's got a good skill set. He's a solid prospect, not amazing, not flawless. Third rounder. He's got good size, speed.
I think it's better dynasty investment than anything, but he's still going too early for me in dynasty rookie drafts. He's still going too early for role playing running back. He's Latavius Murray.
I have none of him where he was going like the 202 in dynasty, but 14th round in Ray draft, like that's fine. That's okay. Who else? Yeah, I don't know anyone else. No one else really sticks out. I have Edwards-Helaire. It's got
I was
fishbowl.
just gonna say that Edwards-Helaire is a steal. Just because the way he started out the season last year and then he fell off, and it's
the way he started the season.
I don't like CH. I hate CH with a passion.
Dude, me too. But he's behind Pacheco and 31 at this point. I don't know. Jet McKinnon. Like, let's be real. He can do a little bit of damage.
God, this ADP is so bizarre. I'm literally just looking at stuff now. Like, I mean, watching Jerome Ford go 164, RB 57. I mean, that's a dude that's going to get touches regardless. Like, Nick Chubb can't be out on the field for every play.
Touches don't matter for like backups. It's just about like what kind of role, like who's in front of him, just Chubb, and then who's behind him, no one else. And so like he's gonna have a solid role if Chubb gets hurt. That's what I'm looking at. Versus like it's like him, Felton, Kelly.
You know what? I got an answer for you. The best running back, and Gain was the answer, right? But I'm going to go with another one.
I think he's the answer.
We're going to say whichever Chicago Bear has the lowest ADP in any one of your drafts should probably be the guy that you target.
I don't know. Foreman's.
I like Foreman better than Roshan for redraft.
Really?
Foreman got signed to a contract. Roshan got a 4th-round pick.
Whatever contract.
Yeah, but it's better than Roshan. Roshan's getting probably a quarter of the pay that he's getting.
Yeah, but the pay doesn't matter. I agree. Like, it's all low. And I love Herbert the most because Herbert's shown to be a good rusher. And
I do like Herbert the most. But Deonta Foreman has still shown that he's able to play, especially in this type of system.
If I could pick between the two of them.
Isn't Foreman getting the most amount of money from any, like, compared to any of them?
Yeah, but only because the other two are on rookie deals or 4th and 5th round.
Yeah, well, they're still paying the most amount of money to somebody that you're saying is going to be a 3rd overall back, right?
Yeah, but like if you don't want to talk about money, it's like
still
if they're on a rookie deal, it doesn't really matter.
How many of these teams wish they would have signed
like Michael Thomas right now versus Chris Olave, who's the wide receiver 1 on his team? Who makes more money?
I think Michael Thomas, if he's healthy, is technically the wide receiver 1. No. I think Olave is the far better receiver, but if Michael Thomas can stay healthy, that's been Michael Thomas got signed years ago. But Michael Thomas got signed years ago. He didn't just sign a contract. Like this is money that they just trolled out because they didn't think that they had a guy there that could play that route. They could have signed another veteran. Right? They could have gone out and signed anybody. They could have gotten J.D. McKissick, or they could have gotten anybody really, like for cheaper than what they got Deonta Foreman. Deonta Foreman, I think, went in the first.
Foreman plays a totally different role though. Like Foreman is not a receiver. He'll be between the top.
I was just giving you an example, like somebody came off the top of my head, right? Like, think JaMychal Hasty, same level talent, maybe slightly better than JaMychal Hasty, but he's making 4 times the amount of money because that's what they valued him at. Because hell, he played well last year.
He's a good rusher. I agree with you.
And they didn't think that they had it.
But like the money isn't like the money for like 4th round rookie versus 5th round and 5th round rookie versus a veteran. That's not going to be any reason. Like I think Foreman deserves to be the 4th here. But
wait,
another one's Jeff Wilson.
Back?
Not 4th, 3rd.
Oh yeah, I thought you were like the 4th overall back. Dude,
no.
I mean
Jeff Wilson's going 3rd amongst his Miami guys, and he'll have some usable weeks for sure.
Isn't he hurt?
Is he? I don't fucking know.
He was recently. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Regardless,
he'll be okay. He'll be fine. He'll get hurt anyways, regardless of what happens. He'll be back eventually.
All right, let's get out of here, man. Let everybody know where to find you.
I'm on Twitter at YZR_fantasy, where I am verified. You know, I paid money, but I'm still verified, and that's it. That's the only place you can find me.
Love it, man. Love it. Thank you for joining the show tonight, man. It's been a pleasure having you on. It was a roller coaster. Not only takes, but also audiences where we were up all the way at like 15 at one point, and down at like 9, then up at 21, and then down at 1. It's been a bizarre night, but not doing the show for weeks, that probably has a little bit of an impact. I appreciate you coming on though. It's been fun. Thank you guys for all chilling in the chat. Jamie, thank you for showing up every single week. We appreciate you, man. We'll do another show here soon. I'll bring Akash back on here relatively soon. We'll figure it out.
If he doesn't ghost me again.
Fuck, man. I ghosted everybody. I didn't just ghost you. I ghosted Jamie too.
I mean, shit, bro. Didn't your house get robbed? What happened?
Yeah, I had all sorts of wild stuff happen. I'll tell you about another time.
You're good, bro.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. And thank you all for letting us intervene with your fantasy football life. We out.